Hi, you guys. I hope you're all are doing well. I'm actually recording this for Monday, Sunday night, November 17th. And it's a short one, but a lot of good information in here. A lot of it is relatable. And this first video right here, very reminiscent of what a lot of us went through the last 3, 4 years with the neighbors who would drop anyone on a dime. Just say, hey, I saw so and so having people over. How dare they? And it reminded me of the very first coin in our country, which was the 13 colonies, the rings of the first 13 states. And then the flip side was a sundial, reminding us how precious time is. And on the other side with the rings, in the middle, it said, mind your business. And how far removed we've gotten from that with online gossiping and people just photographing their food and how ridiculous things are. So just live your best life, focus on what you're doing, what your needs are, what you can contribute to others. But this video sums up how scary, again, how cyclical things are. You think people would learn from history to never do it again, but look at what people went through the last 3 years.
Americans are still fundamentally naive about the nature of evil. Americans, maybe Westerners more broadly, think evil is someone with a wacky mustache pounding a podium, talking in a crazy language. They don't realize evil is that next door neighbor who will be delighted to turn you and your family to the cops simply because it's going to make them feel important. This never enters their head. I wasn't even aware, because when I was doing the white pill and learning about the secret police in these different countries, I had been under the impression that it was things like, I'm captive, KGB takes me, and they're like, hey, you can stay here for 20 years, or you can confess that when you were at Tom's house, you and Tom were plotting to kill Stalin. So what's it going to be? It's like, oh yeah, he wouldn't shut up. He hates him. And they're like, great, just sign this and you're free. You know what I mean? Like, but what I learned is the Stasi, the East German secret police. There was a woman, Anna Funder, who interviewed her for one of her books, Stasiland. He goes, we didn't even have to pay them. They were tripping over themselves to call us because they wanted to feel important. America.
It nails it right to a T. How many times did people, look at the different states. These narc lines. This last election, Walls's record coming out of people narking at each other, saying, "Yeah, there's a hotline. If you see anyone or suspect anyone, who the hell are you to say or intrude on anyone else's way of life or their home or anything like that? This doesn't directly impact you. What the hell do you care?" But the ending of what he just said, we didn't have to pay him. They just want to feel important. Is your life that sad that you have to intrude on other people's lives? You feel like you're doing something when this has no positive outcome at all. In fact, it makes things worse. It's, again, you gotta be careful about knowing your history and then not repeating this absurd reactions and how fast fear spreads. But again, when that's being manipulated, where does that manipulation stop? Like in this video.
Let's take a look at what's going on in California here. This is roughly where Vandenberg Air Force Base is. You see that emanating out towards the coast from there? Watch, boom. See that right there? Those pulses that look like the Wi-Fi symbol. Yeah, that's microwave energy. It's coming down here as well, but it's a different pattern. You see that? They're shooting out into the ocean to dissipate any moisture that might be coming to save us from their heat wave that they're inducing. And you see this massive pulse going from east to west and all these NextRed towers here. But you can pull up on a map and see the positions and see how they're radiating. It's not birds, honey. It's not weather. See? Fixed position. You see the towers, the black in the center. All right, it's emanating outwards from that. We're being microwaved.
Oh yeah, you can see the ripples throughout the plains.
Let's take a look at what's going on in California.
Above the play triangle, you can see the lines through South Dakota into Nebraska. That's wild. Let me know what you guys think about this stuff. This one I'm still trying to wrap it. I mean, I know there's towers. There is that manipulation. You can see it on all of these charts and everything that people break down. But if you knew more, I'd love to know what your input is or thoughts on it. Now, talking about things being manipulated, historical books, documentation, learning about old calendars from 1928, there being 13th month. This right here, 3D printing in the 1930s, a machine that automated the mixing, pouring, and shaping of concrete, invented by William E. Urschel in the 1930s. Check this out. He's dumping it in, they get the wheels spinning, smoothing it out, and forming it all at once. It looks like those tiny homes that they're building in different states and in different countries. But this was in the 1930s. And now it's like it just holds farm equipment. Very reminiscent of the videos of old electric cars from the 1930s, where a car would roll up to a station and they would lift the hood up. A little crane would come down, lift up this big battery pack from the front, from like where the hood is. They'd lower a fresh one in, clean the windows, check the tires, and then the guy would be off. It's just kind of funny how, again, things come in cycles. Now, we've touched base about knowing your local sources of food and where your food comes from, but here's a fresh take into where's the meat and what is actually in this process, using air quotations here, meat. One bag after another. I don't know, it's like one powder after another. It could be vegetable protein, and then you get, the red dye 40, and maybe too fast, new oils and new binders. Yeah, watch the whole process.
Don't even contain meat.
No, I don't know what's in there. Now again, touching base, making everything connect, learning, doing our research. This is really sad. In this article here, or in this video from CBS Mornings, just 1 in 10 American high school seniors have read at least 6 books beginning to end, in an article titled "The Elite College Students Who Can't Read Books." In 1976, 40% of high school seniors had reported reading at least 6 books beginning to end. And listen to this, what's happening today.
The elite college students who can't read books. That's the title of an article in the Atlantic magazine. It's got people talking for about a week now. It interviews 33 professors at the very best universities in the whole country, and every single one of them, across categories of literature and subject matter, say the best students in America find it impossible to finish a book, struggle to encounter and make it through new ideas, lose their ability to follow the big argument while getting the small details, and just bottom line are showing up in office hours and saying, I can't do this.
Wow.
And they're not sure why. And there's some numbers behind this too. So back in 1976, high school seniors, 40% of them had read at least a half dozen books beginning to end. Now, just 1 in 10 high school seniors have read a half dozen books. So it's something about the preparation, maybe something about the phone.
Wow.
The technology. People worry that, I remember when I read Junot Diaz, and it brought me into a whole world that wasn't the one I grew up in. It's a whole different, it created an empathy and experience that I wouldn't have otherwise. The elite college students.
And they're all acting surprised, like, wow, how can this be? Well, you have this one-size-fits narrative from the Rockefellers putting this into play in the 1920s all into today. Education used to stop at 8th grade. And you would either work for the family farm or the business, and you were just producing, you were productive. Now it's keep it going. And then when you're done with high school, go into college. And they're almost, it's like it's this, well, everyone else is doing it, I have to do the same thing too. It's this one size fits all narrative. Creativity, problem solving, they're not teaching that. It's memorize dates, be a great test taker, and then progress to the next stage. I saw a video yesterday where they talked about a decade ago, I think it's actually longer now, they removed home ec and then they removed shop class. I remember taking that. I remember learning how to cook and reading recipes and applying all the math skills into that, dividing or doubling a recipe and so on. Shop class. Tools. If you had to fix something, make something. And now I had to take it upon myself to learn carving. And now I can carve spoons and bowls, and you're learning how to carve. And this is the thing. This is the growth and the positivity that comes from homeschooling. At some point, it's inevitable. You're going to look at stats and information like this and realize that we can't progress and expect good things to happen from this. I mean, how many videos have we all seen online where people randomly ask questions to young adults on the streets? How many stars are on the flag? And they don't know. Or name 3 countries, and they're naming continents at best. It's that sad and ridiculous.
I'll give you 3 countries: Brazil, the United Kingdom, Canada.
Again, it's just, I'm talking about people, just average people in the streets. This, again, and now they're talking about elite colleges or top tier ones. Can you think about an average community college? Are they reading books from beginning? I mean, honestly, we're talking about test taking notes. Everything's AI now. They just go online, they put in what this book is, and they just cliff notes all it is. And, yeah, there's apps now. There's AI platforms where you take the book, you plug it in, and AI generates notes for that. So you're not even reading them. You just put in the title and the author, and it's, yeah, I mean, anyways, again, be careful. I mean, here's the next video. This ties in really well. I saw this. I had to put the 2 of these videos together.
Oh, World War
What went wrong?
You
Like, what did I do? I'm just
I
asking a simple question.
know.
Do you still love me?
No.
Gracie very famously.
Honey, do you know who Hitler is?
Can
I
I
mean,
skip
of
this
all the
question?
he's-
Can you explain history to me, please?
Not right now.
On Father's Day, I know it's your favorite pastime.
Look, this right here really cut me deep. Did I have to explain that Hitler is dead
I can be out of the will.
and
It's
who
fine.
he is? I have failed.
I'm not asking who he is. I'm like,
As a
is he
father.
good?
I mean,
Yes.
Grace, right now the best thing for you to do is to bury your face and have a piece of pie.
Okay.
We're gonna Joyce.
Why are you laughing at me?
You asked if Hitler's dead.
That might
Your
not
grandma
happen.
was 3 when he died.
Okay, obviously I didn't pay attention in history class, okay?
You don't have to.
That might be the dumbest question you asked. Oh, World War
What did I do?
Guys. I be honest, the first one I saw, I didn't finish it. I just finished it now. This is... I obviously didn't pay attention to history class. Like, okay, well... She doesn't know... Honey, how old do you think this girl is? What do you think? High school, maybe? Maybe early college?
Yeah.
She doesn't know who Hitler is. She's just asking, is he dead? And then her brother's saying, Grandma was 3 when he died. This is our future, honey. This is our future voters and procreators, and I don't even know anymore. But she's got her Stanley Cup, so you got that going.
I'm pretty sure the Mercury's doing something to her brain.
No, honey, it's the one-size-fits-all narrative. It's being taught and conditioned. Ding, go to the next class. Ding, go in the next class. Okay, be a good worker. Just be a good worker. Don't question anything. Trust the science.
I'm questioning and I trust God, not science.
Alright, so to lighten it, here you go.
Where's your accent from? Oh. I was just in England. It was really fun. I was making fun of them a lot. Because you live there now? Yeah. Dude, I was making fun. Can I? I was making fun of them because it's so medieval over there. Here's an example when the Queen died. My buddy was like, have you heard? The Queen has passed and Prince Charles is taking the throne. I'm like, are you reading a book right now? You want me to play along? Have you alerted the town crier? What do you want me to say? Then they heckled me. They're like, you've got a gun problem. They said we have a gun problem. And I was like, yeah, at least it's a modern problem. What's the biggest violent crime in London right now? Knives. Yeah, they have a dagger problem. Oh, no! If only I'd done this. You can't dodge a bullet, baby. America. No, it's a serious problem. And you can dodge a bullet if you just look to the right a little bit. Where's your accent from?
And I don't know why, I just thought this was pretty cool. If you like Johnny Cash, check this out.
This is Johnny Cash's dollar bill guitar trick. So when Johnny Cash was recording a lot of his records, he didn't actually have a drummer. So he did this pretty ingenious thing where you take a dollar bill or you take a playing card and you basically just weave it into the strings. There's plenty of different ways to do that. I like to go under the first 3 strings and then go over. That way the first 2 strings can still ring out. But now when you strum the bottom 4 strings, it kind of sounds a little bit like a snare drum, and this is acting as the snare wires. This is Johnny Cash's...
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And then to give hope with homeschooling, check this out. This is really cool.
Newly elected president wants to get rid of the Department of Education. And while the media is acting like this would be a terrible thing, those of us who pay attention know much better. As the Department of Education was created in 1980 and has been an objective disaster. Within only 3 years, they had released this report, which used what would later be shown to be a faulty analysis of data to justify the implementation of standardized test culture. And it wouldn't be long until schools all over America dropped woodshop and home ec so that they could teach to the test. And we all know they're not even good at that, which is why homeschool students perform so much better than public school students. Like, look at this chart. It's literally on everything.
Yeah, I'll just pause it real quick. Total reading, total language, total math, science, social studies, core, and then composite. And these are just averages.
Reading, math, science, social studies, as it seems the only thing the Department of Education is good at is forcing their political agenda down our throats. And they don't teach kids how to think, they tell them what to think. So when you were in school, had you even heard of a logical fallacy? Are they teaching kids to get back to primary documents? Or do they encourage them to discern truth for themselves? Do the students graduate with any actual skills? Are they taught financial literacy? I'm pretty sure the answer is no. And the only thing they're really taught is that the people that founded this country are bad. And our kids deserve much better. So check out my private homeschool community.
Oh, right. So another great link to utilize, but again, yeah, real life, everything, anything applicable, anything you do as a family or business or whatnot, bring your kids along, explain things. Early on, I would find gentle ways to explain anything you would see out anywhere we would go. So you're saving yourself the time to say, okay, inevitably they're going to ask the question, what's this? So instead of saying, okay, here's 20 minutes, you have a better understanding because you're getting little bits and pieces along the way. And as you get older, you can explain and go into more depth with that. Art, music. The great thing about homeschooling is you don't have to wait a whole year to progress to the next thing. You can do it right now. Or you can spend more time explaining anything. Running a business, financial literacy, true history, politics on a town level, state level, and so on. Get your kids involved in these things to explain why these things are so important instead of being an adult who says, I don't get involved in politics. It's like, honey, you're living, you're breathing, you're working, you're paying taxes, you're in it. You have a say in this. You should know what the hell's going on, who you're voting for. So you can either do all of that or just fall in line with whoever's blue, that's who you're voting for. It's like, I don't get that. Critical thinking, questioning things, everyone has the right to do that.
Yeah.
So get informed, know your rights. If you don't know them, what are you fighting for? But again, these sources are everywhere. From groups to online sources, same thing with food. There are so many sources out there when it comes to dairy, raw dairy, cheese, meats, produce, all that good stuff. And you find these places, build that, report them, get the relationship going, and then just keep growing from there. Keep adding and building. It's fun. It can be a lot of fun. Get involved. Get your kids involved. Get the whole family working together. Again, it's just getting back to the basics. When immigrants came here, they had the whole family unit working together and supporting each other. So, with that being said, I hope you guys got something out of this. If you want to share your thoughts and opinions on any of these things, please put it down below. Let me know what you guys think. And with that being said, I'll talk to you all again next time.